So that's the difference. This lecture we're going to consider direct benefits. And effectively what I mean by direct benefits of female choice is enhanced fecundity, things which allow her to lay more eggs. So I'm going to cover 4 things here. I'm going to cover benefits due to kind of a good territory that the male you choose holds. Some kind of direct benefit such as a bit of food or a gift that the male gives in exchange for mating. Parental care of your offspring, that's a direct benefit because it saves you the effort of having to care for the offspring. If you choose a male who's better at performing parental care, that's good for your offspring, it's good for you, it saves you the effort. And protection against predators, against other males, other things like that. So we'll start with territories, and a good example of this is again American bullfrogs in this Howard paper. So females choose males that hold territories around ponds, and what they're looking to gain is things like reduced predation on their eggs by leeches. So you want a male who can hold a territory that's not got very many leeches in it. And what Howard showed was that the bigger the male, the fewer the less leech predation there was on eggs in his territory. So bigger the male, the better the territory effectively. And what that basically means is higher water temperature and less vegetation for leeches to for leeches to kind of get a purchase on. So bigger males are better at kind of finding the best, competing for the best territory, and that translates directly into increased hatching success for the females because there's less leech predation. So that's a good breeding sites are a good direct benefit for females. Another one is a nuptial gift. And a nuptial gift, we're going to go, we're going to consider this in more depth later in the lecture. But a nuptial gift is something which a male gets from the environment, typically, or you know, like it's a physical thing which a male kind of offers as a kind of an inducement to mate. A good example is these hanging flies. Thornhill has done a lot of stuff on sexual selection, especially with respect to nuptial gifts. In these hanging flies, the male gets a piece of prey, they're predatory insects, and the male will get a piece of prey and offer it to the female. The female's getting effectively dinner, and the male is getting to mate. And females discriminate on the basis of the size of the nuptial gift, so they're more likely to mate with males that bring a larger nuptial gift. Here's the nuptial gift size along the x-axis, and there is the length of time the females spend copulating with that male. And Thornhill had a look at lots of these things, weighed the nuptial gift, or measured the nuptial gift, and found that males who bring puny little nuptial gifts only get short matings, whereas you have to have a nuptial gift above about 20 millimeters long, and then the female will copulate for the optimal amount of time, which is 20 minutes. Beyond 20 millimeter nuptial gift, then that's kind of okay, and the female will just stay at the same copulation duration. Incidentally, if you bring a toxic nuptial gift, then the female knows about it. So there's a little ladybird there, and if a male tries to offer a toxic nuptial gift, then the female doesn't like that very much, and so she doesn't copulate for very long. So that's nuptial gifts, and we're going to go into them in a bit more detail later. Then there's male parental care, which is also used as an index of male quality. And a benefit that the female can get from a male. So Niebuhr looked at herring gulls and found that there is a correlation between the number of so in herring gulls, the male will courtship feed the female. You can see this happening in this picture here. The male will bring fish to the female that he's got. So that's one kind. That's effectively a direct benefit in itself. But Niebuhr found also that the number of courtship feeds that a male gives a female along the x-axis is correlated with the number of feeds that the male later gives the chicks. So not only is a female getting a direct benefit of a courtship feed, but also a male is demonstrating by being a good courtship feeder that he's also a good chick feeder. And that translates, and also, not only that, but there is also a reasonable correlation between courtship feeds and the amount of time a male spends incubating the eggs. So a male is basically demonstrating his prowess as a parent by showing a female how much he can courtship feed. Incidentally, if you're looking skeptically at the sample size of this study, I did too. So these are not the world's biggest sample sizes, but it's worth looking at the paper anyway. You can also get protection against predators and against harassment. So one good example is Chensky looking at ground lizards. Females choose males, and they looked at what males females chose to mate with versus the ones that they rejected, and they found that overwhelmingly the ones that females accepted were bigger than the ones that they rejected. So we've got female choice of big males, and what does that give them? Well, they found that the big males were able to protect the females against mating attempts by smaller males, and those mating attempts typically stopped the females from foraging. So females that were guarded by a large male versus females that were not guarded by a large male, the females that were guarded tended to spend more of their time foraging, and that was because of not being harassed. The male would protect her from attempts by other males. Okay, so you got territory, nuptial gifts, you've got parental care and protection. They're all examples of direct benefits that females can use to choose between males.